my net worth would be now 12 million. My last come on your show, it was 10. So I've accumulated another 2 during that time. There's been periods of my life where I've embraced it, and there's been periods of my life when I've disliked it, and I'll explain.
Your dad's a very, very wealthy man. Did you ever feel like you're just living in his shadow?
At 28, Alfie Best Jr is worth £12 million, built, not inherited. He's taken heavy losses, built parks and properties, launched a millionaire network, and made a bold turn by embracing Islam.
He will not help financially. He sticks to a code where he will help me with contacts and advice, which sometimes I disagree with.
Has there ever been situations where you have hit rock bottom and you've had to turn to your dad?
I probably lost £300,000 or £400,000, but again, I would have earned that whilst I was doing them.
In this episode, he unpacks the pressure, discipline and faith behind stepping out of his father's shadow.
What was that turning point for you? Before we jump into today's episode, we've noticed that 71% of people watching right now are not subscribed. If you're watching this, you're clearly enjoying it. Here's our promise to you. Hit subscribe and we'll keep raising the bar, bringing you the biggest and best guests yet. Sharper conversations, bigger guests, and unfiltered conversations that others won't dare to do. Hit subscribe now. What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Blue Tick Show. We've got part 2 with Alfie Best Jr. He's a Muslim brother. He's the son of Alfie Best Sr. And welcome to the show, my brother. Part 2, we finally got it locked in. You was one of my first ever episodes that done big numbers.
Listen, we finally got there in the end, mate. I'm back and we're going to do big numbers again. And thank you very much for having me back. And it has come so far since I last come on the show. Well,
listen, it's a pleasure to have you here, firstly.
Pleasure's all mine.
I want to open the podcast with one question. What is your net worth?
So my net worth would be now, from the Sunday Times, would be about 12 million. So from the last time I last come on your show, it was 10. So I've accumulated another 2 during that time.
That's what the Sunday Times says. What would you say your net worth is?
I would like to say that's pretty accurate, but listen, a lot of my net worth is down to property, and the property market is fluctuating massively at the moment. So I would like to say 12 million, maybe more. Maybe a little bit less.
Fair play. And within the last, let's say 2 to 3 years, that's when we last on the pod, your net worth's gone up by £2 million. What investments have you put in place?
I've just purchased another mobile home park up in Bournemouth.
Nice.
Which, again, is something that my dad has pushed me into, because his advice to me is always stick to what you know. And that's exactly what I've done. It's not cool. It's not something I necessarily enjoy, but it is a very good, solid investment. And we know the insides and outsides of the job. Something come up and I purchased it, which it's a lovely site up in Bournemouth, and it's doing very well.
Do you enjoy it?
I enjoy making money. Ideally, I'd rather be a Hollywood actor or a movie star, but unfortunately, that's not what I know, and that's not the path that I went down. But like I say, I like making money, and property is realistically all I know, and it's a good base for me.
Let me ask you this, a bit more of a personal question. Your dad's a very, very wealthy man. You've got the same name as your dad. How did it feel for you growing up? Did you ever feel like you're just living in his shadow?
There's been periods of my life where I've embraced it, and there's been periods of my life when I've disliked it, and I'll explain. So it's been a little bit more difficult for me as people have looked at me, and this is when I've been probably from 20 upwards, and I'm expected to do well. So when things aren't going so well, I look at other people that have successful fathers and they have a very easy life. And I used to look at my dad and think to myself, why can't you just let me have it? Why can't you give me? I listen to Donald Trump, for example, when he looks up and says that he had a small loan of £5 million. I'm like, why can't my dad give me a small loan of £5 million? And there's been years where I've proved myself that I wouldn't just go and waste it. Like I've earned and I've invested my own money. And there's also been times where I've stopped and thought to myself, I'm so happy that you have made me do this myself, because I value every single pound, whether it's £1 or whether it's £100,000. I see the value in every single penny, and I know exactly how far it goes. When you have something give to you, and I've witnessed this with a lot of people, they don't appreciate it. If, for example, this podcast, if you just someone went, there you go, there's 1 million subscribers. There's a podcast, go and make it. You wouldn't want to put the effort into it. You wouldn't know how hard it was to build. You'd just think, oh, this is easy. And you probably wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah, no, that's very, very true. But you got to have a strong mindset to think like that. Because a lot of people who have wealthy dads are a spoiled little brat, and they turn around and say, why can't I just have a few mil? Because realistically, let's cut the bullshit. Your dad could easily drop you a few mil. It wouldn't affect him. That's the truth of the matter. But I rate him for what he's done. And the truth is, if he was ever in trouble, God forbid it, he'd be there. He would, 100%. That is, he's worked hard to be able to give you a life where if shit hits the fan, he'd help you. Has there ever been situations where you have hit rock bottom and you've had to turn to your dad?
He will not help financially.
Seriously?
No, he will not help financially. He sticks to a code where he will help me with contacts and advice, which sometimes I disagree with.
Fair play to him.
As far as financial or giving money or handing money over,
nothing.
It doesn't happen.
Serious?
You know, there's benefits I have. Like I get taken on family holidays, which again, to be quite honest with you, what some people would look outside and say, oh my God, you are so lucky to go. And this could sound very spoiled. I look at it like I'm entitled to that. I look at it like that's the very least he can do for me is take me on holiday with the family.
Fair play. But you got to rate him for it as well. You never think about car accidents until you're standing there shaken with no idea what to do next. A non-fault accident leaves you without a car, stressed, chasing insurance companies that don't care and try not to get ripped off. With Monaco Motor Group, it's simple. They recover your car instantly. They give you a replacement hire vehicle within 24 hours. Your repairs get done to manufacturer standards. Injured? They handle your compensation. You pay nothing. They recover all costs from the at-fault insurer. Contact Monaco Motor Group or call 020-3488-8956. And here's the part nobody tells you about. You can actually become an agent for the company. Refer someone who's had a crash, get paid up to £500. Refer a few a month, it becomes a side business. Refer a lot of people, now you got a whole business. Monaco Motor Group. Crash handled, bag secured.
Listen, absolutely. And I wouldn't be the man I am today without going through what I've gone through. And compared to some people, I don't know what hardship is. Compared to some other people, I've only ever known hardship. So depending who you want to compare me to, depends on how hard my life has been, which I wouldn't say it's been extremely difficult. And a lot of people say, oh, you know, if it didn't go well, you always had your dad to pick you back up. That hasn't been the case. It's actually been very difficult if it hasn't gone well, I've had my dad on the back telling me what I should have done right and what I've done wrong, which, to be honest with you, is just completely soul-destroying. Because at the top and bottom of it is, a lot of what I do is also to make my dad proud.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and you're your own man. That's the thing as well. With you, it's you uphold that name as much as, yeah, it's your dad. You don't want to be in his shadow. You're your own man. You're going to start, you've started your own family. You need to be yourself as well. You can't always sit there and go, oh, yeah, but my dad. Nah. You've done very well for yourself at such a young age to be worth 12 million quid without your dad helping you. I'd be bloody proud if I was you.
Listen, absolutely. But also what my dad has instilled to me. And I think it's a genetic thing that it's just never enough. Like, I don't know when I'd be satisfied. You know, when I bought my first mobile home park, I thought, yeah, that'll do. I'll lay back now and I'll go out and act like everybody else. And I've done what, you know, teenagers and young men do. I've gone out, but it doesn't excite me like going to earn money and being able to provide for my family and being able to provide for my friends and being valuable, because I believe in this life, to become successful, you need to be valuable, is what I believe, in a sense of whatever you do. If you're a banker, you need to be the best banker you can possibly be.
Yeah.
If you're a bricklayer, you need to be the best bricklayer you can possibly be, because if you're not, you're then of very little value, because somebody's going to want the best bricklayer. Maybe they might be looking for cheap one day. But, you know, like I say to you, people say, and I've pushed this for so long, your network is your net worth. That's why I've started the Alfie Best Jr. WhatsApp group, because people have asked me, how do you network? What do you do? How do you find? I don't know how to find these people with loads of money. And I think that is a good question. How do you find them? How do you network? Because it has been very easy for me to network, because off the back of who my dad is, I become a valuable person. But off the back of who my dad is, I'll say it how it is. Off the back of who my dad is, I become a valuable person. So, I still have to obtain that. So I stopped and I thought, actually, how do these people do it that have a lot less, that maybe do not have a successful father, successful brother, mother or sister? How do you network? And then I had the light bulb moment where I thought, right, I can bring all these people together, but they have to bring value. And that's how I understand, or I believe and push, that if you're not valuable as a person, life can be very, very, very difficult. So whatever you choose, whatever path you decide to go down in life, try your utmost best. And you will always be known. Let's say you don't make it. You'll always be known as the trier.
That is very, very true. And I feel like myself, I have this issue as well where I plan everything and I don't execute. That's my issue. And now I said to myself this year, everything I say I'm going to do, I'm going to. Even if it fails, even if it flops, no problem. I tried it. Even if it flops. And I feel like, lucky enough, your Alfie Best group chat, I'm in it myself. I think it's a sick group chat. Every day there's deals going on. Someone's talking about something. Someone's networking with this person. I think it was a great idea that you started it. And I feel like everyone in there is on the same wavelength. Everyone's all about making money, networking. And I live by the motto, your network is your net worth if you make them network. Because so many people know loads of millionaires, but they don't talk to them. Their phone books might have loads of multi-millionaires in there, but they're not connecting them with people. You've done the hard part, which is connected everyone together. And that group chat must make some big money now.
Listen, it earns a little bit, and I genuinely believe it's going to earn a lot more. The opportunity for me is endless. And the reason you would join, and the first thing people have got in common, now some people aren't so good, some people are great, because they're open to networking. You could call them a pest, which again is great because they're pushing and trying. And if you've got someone, again, that's pushing and trying, you're only going to pull people up with you. If you're not trying, you're just going to stay stagnant and everyone around you is going to do the exact same. But everybody that joins, for me, so there's a small joining fee and there's a monthly subscription. Now, what that does is sets an intent that you are joining to better yourself. Because if you wasn't joining to better yourself and you never really cared, you wouldn't bother spending the money.
Oh, definitely.
And everybody in there has the first initial of, right, I'm going to go in there and network. Otherwise, they wouldn't join. So straight away, and everybody's not the same. And like I say, there's some people in there better than others. It is what it is, unfortunately. But the opportunity for people in there is endless. And there was opportunities they would never have. And again, there would probably be people better to make a group than me. But at the same time, I don't think so, because I can't actually say I've been in the position where I haven't had, because I've pretty much had a good network my whole life. But I have seen people in a position, and I know people in a position that don't have a good network, and they are pretty much lost of, where do I go? What do I do? Who do I speak to? And how do I speak to them? But great, if you're put in technically a room, which is a room nowadays, because you can now, with technology, you can speak to anybody you want from anywhere in the world. You can connect people via social media, WhatsApp, whatever it may be. You are basically in a room together with people that are trying to move forward and make money and better themselves or their business.
Yeah, no, when you put it like that, there's someone in the group chat for everything.
Mm-hmm.
There is. And I feel like it's a great move. Very, very good move. And I can only see it getting bigger and bigger and bigger. When I first joined, I think you had like 60 people in there. Yeah. Now you're at, I don't know how many members you're at now, but I want to ask this. What has been your biggest ever business lesson you've learned?
Losing money. Always.
How? Tell us an incident where you lost X amount of money and you was like, okay, that can't happen again.
There's been multiple scenarios. I'll tell you the most recent. As I was on your show the last time, I told you that I buy and sold watches. Still do, but we have a different plan of how we buy and sell now. We basically only source or try and sell watches for people. We will not buy anything for stock unless it's extremely cheap. And there's so many people out there doing it now that you could go and get a better price, because I'm so cautious of the market collapsing as it already has. So I just thought that watches was going up and up and up and up and up. I just didn't think it was ever going to end. I was buying whatever, whenever, thinking that I was the best watch dealer in the world, because what was expensive today was very cheap in 2 weeks' time. And then we all woke up one day and they completely collapsed, by some watches by 50%. So if you had an Audemars Piguet white gold skeleton that cost 300,000. It was then worth 150, and it didn't go 10,000. It didn't go 290, 280, 270. It went from 300 maybe to 200, which everybody was very cautious, so nobody was really buying. And now there's very, very little out of a Rolex authorized dealer that is actually making over list. There's
not many. There's not many at all.
The stainless steel sports watches are making a small premium, but not a lot.
Why do you think it collapsed so bad?
Again, do you know what? I actually don't even know the answer to that question. I think the lockdown pushed them right up. And why, I don't know. I don't know how or why. And there's 100 conspiracy theories to why it could have been, but I don't actually know. And the car market's the exact same. Cars was also going through the roof. There were so many cars. You couldn't get a car out of the garage, let alone go and buy one and make over list for it, which so many of them was doing. And I had a 911 Turbo S, what I got from the garage, and they was making £50,000 over list. I never ever did sell it. I kept it because I would only have to go and replace it anyway, and I wouldn't be able to get another one. But so they was listing at 180 and selling for 230. It was ludicrous. But
mad.
It's a very easy job when you put it like that. I don't know anywhere that you can go and just lay out
50 grand
like that. And that's not bring it out, try and advertise it yourself. That's take it out of one and take it to another dealer.
How much did you lose during the watch collapse?
I probably lost £300,000 or £400,000. But again, I would have earned that whilst I was doing them, quite possibly. But it was still in my hands. I still lost it. I still accumulated that to then lose it.
What's been your biggest loss and what's been your biggest win?
My biggest loss, that would be pretty close to my biggest loss as far as I can remember. I spoke last time I was on your show about the nightclub, which that was hemorrhaging money hand over fist. But I managed to pull that back around, so I can't look at that like a loss. And as far as my biggest win, I've always made little money, save. I believe in making as much capital as you possibly can and put it into property. We buy and sell park homes, but again, I try and encourage doing good deals. It's not all about making money. It's making yourself a good and fair person that somebody wants to do business with.
How much did you just pay for the new park you just bought now?
£900,000.
And what will that make you yearly?
I'm confident that it makes £60,000 yearly. It's £5,000 ground rent a month. But, you're saying that makes yearly. It doesn't make me yearly pretty much anything. It makes the business that money. And that's how it's looked at and that's how it is. But again, I try to leave everything inside a business account and just keep multiplying for the business to grow. And obviously I own the business.
Do you pay yourself a wage?
Of course, I pay myself a wage, but the bare minimum of what I need to live.
Why do you live so simple? Because whenever I've spoken to you, I've realized you're not a flashy guy. Like, don't get it twisted. You had your flashy moments. I've looked at your socials. I've seen the Bugattis. I've seen the helicopters. I've seen it all. You've done it all. You've lived that party life. You have. But why now have you decided to just say, I just want to chill, make my money, make my businesses grow? Because someone of your age, there's many guys out there, wealthy families who are bang out in Dubai, partying every day, popping bottles, living that high life, they call it. What made you not want to go down that route?
I have a very simple answer, and it's very straightforward and easy for me to answer, actually. When you've been there, when you've done it, and then you stop 2 or 3 or 4 years later and look at the money you've spent doing that and thinking how much for, and thinking, did I really have that much of a good time? Really, it only ever brought problems. When I was out partying and doing whatever, that's when my problems come. My problems never come when I was trying to do business, even on the worst days. Mm-hmm. If you're at work and you're trying to earn money, you're well out of harm's way. So when you stop and you look back and you think to yourself, I could have spent however much money doing that. Let's say it was 50,000, which I'm quite sure it would have been a hell of a lot more over the course of, from being 18 to 25 or 24. And I'm working during all this time. I used to justify, I'm out networking, I'm meeting people, and I have had some good times. There's no doubt about it. But I stop and I look and I think to myself, I could have bought another flat. I could have bought another property with that. Cars again, when I'm looking at the money that I've lost on cars, thinking to myself, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know, people look at a car that you buy yourself, and it's very straightforward. And people overlook this. For a car, what's £100,000? Let's say £100,000. Let's not identify the car. Just a car worth £100,000. Technically, it doesn't cost £100,000. If that's a personal car, you pay 45% tax, or my tax rate is 45%. So that's another £45,000. So a £100,000 car is costing me £145,000, and then we lose
half of that second you drive out.
You lose the money. Let's say we find one for a good deal, right? And we lose £20,000. Well, then you've got to earn that £20,000 back, and then you pay another 45%. So after you've done this a couple of times, and you're left very sore looking at actually how much it has cost, you then start to be a little bit more sensible and a little bit more thinking very, very straight. Because, you know, growing up, you know, from 10 to probably from 10, when you can't drive, you're like, oh, I want this car and I want that car, and that's your dream and that's what you want. And then you achieve that, and we have a good time. I enjoy it. I love it. But then once you've done it and you look how much it actually has cost, like,
that weren't worth it.
Like,
that weren't worth it.
You know, I've done it. How many times do you want to do it? Do I want to keep driving cars till I've got no money left? Not necessarily. No, I'd rather have property what I can pass on to my children, my grandchildren, and build up a small fortune. And there's a lot of other stuff. Like, I love golf. I love going to play golf now. I don't need I can't put my golf clubs in a Lamborghini.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I need something a little bit more practical.
And with the high life, when you was partying, when you was, listen, you enjoyed it. Let's not get it twisted. You did. And it's good you enjoyed it.
I do not argue that for a second.
We all saw it on socials. You was living good. I know you come from a very well-respected family. I understand that. Did you ever become a target? Did people ever try? Did you ever get robbed? Did people ever try rob you? Anything like that?
I was very, very, very cautious, and touch wood, no, that has never happened, thankfully. But as a target, I always looked at myself as a target, and I still do. Okay. I hear of bigger and uglier men than me getting robbed, and like I say to you, it's just like England's, I think, as bad as it's probably ever been. And I'm very, 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 very cautious wherever I go and whatever I do. But yeah, I and you know, in business even, I see myself as a target. Anybody that's got money is a target.
Yeah, that's what I mean, because obviously people know you've got money. You come from a very wealthy family. They know you've got it. They know you have nice cars, you've got nice watches, and fair play. That means you obviously keep you watch your back, you make sure no one's, your circle's tight, there's no idiots around you that are obviously going to make sure something bad happens to you, which isn't fair play to you. My
view on it is, the view that gets you robbed is the view of, it won't happen to me.
Yeah.
I don't have that view.
Yeah.
I have that view of, it's possible. There's people out there that do that to try and make a living, and why not me? And with that mentality, you stay very cautious, you stay very alert, and thankfully, maybe that way of thinking, I haven't been left in a vulnerable position.
Let's talk about religion a little bit.
Yep.
Because a lot of people love the fact that you reverted to Islam. How is your journey going so far?
Oh, absolutely great. And it's helped me in life massively. So much with everything I've just explained to you. It's helped with keep me on the straight and narrow. Going to Jummah every Friday. I feel clean. I feel fresh. I haven't drunk not one sip of alcohol. Actually, before my Shahada. And I'm trying to do the best I can. Still learning. Yeah, learning. I've learned an awful lot, and I'm a hell of a lot further forward, like education-wise, on the religion, and I'm enjoying it so much, meeting so many good people. And, you know, like before I was a Muslim, I never really understood it. And I used to look at people that took their Shahada and that reverted, like, you're mad, why have you done that? And now I look at people that don't, like, that want to question it. And they're like, you're mad. You know, it's mad how it's changed.
But I think we discussed this on the last pod, but I want to touch on it again because it is such a powerful thing. When was the turning point? What made you say it? Because it is, listen, it's crazy for you to take a Shahada. When it come out that Alfie Best Jr. had become, everyone was like, what? How did that happen? What was that turning point for you?
It was... so before I even picked a Quran up, walked into the mosque, And again, I've explained that whole story. Nothing's changed. That's not going to change. Nothing's changed. I went in with my friend. His mum was taking her Shada, etc. If you need to know the full story, they're going to have to go back to part 1.
Yep.
Anyway, I then picked the Quran up because I wanted to know more. Let's say, and like I say, I got a very, 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 very good sensation. I wanted to know more, and who it was very influential to me, and I wanted to read the Quran, and I've never really read a book from back to front ever. And I'm a bad reader. I'm not very academically clever at all. I'm very more doer, hands-on, which again has never bothered me in my life. When I started reading the Quran, there's so much guidance and so much advice and so much that I was compatible with and so much that I would already done. Like, again, example, drinking alcohol. Most of my problems have come from drinking alcohol. No sex before marriage. Now people are like, why no sex before marriage? And well, look how many children there are out there with no father, nobody support for them, just off of a one-night stand. Now I understand not many people outside of Islam are going to abide by that, nor understand it. But that is the end result. And I'm 100% sure that all mothers look at their children and say, I would not change them for the world. How much better would it be for their father to be their father?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And these are only very, 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 very small points that I'm pulling out. And I read a lot of verses of the Quran over and over and over again. I've never actually, since I read the Quran, I actually read it twice because I found it sometimes difficult
Back to front,
understand.
You read the whole thing.
Within 3 weeks of me taking my Shahada, or maybe 2 weeks, I can't remember what it was now, I managed to read. I definitely read it once. And then after I took my Shahada, I read it twice. Now, I could have actually read it twice before I took my Shahada because I was so interested in knowing what's next and not next. And I had a good imam and he explained a lot to me also what I didn't quite understand. But there was so much that I was compatible with. And you got to remember, the book is written 1,400 years ago, which again, this is people's argument. And I don't want to argue. I don't want to get in a debate with people of who's right and who's wrong. It's right for me. And I would believe it would be right for everybody. And the guidance is pushing you to do right and the path of righteousness. And again, I should be evidence to anybody that it's not what some media push it out and make it to be. Because the minute somebody brands something Muslim, everybody wants to jump on it and just tear it apart and think that it's terrible. Well, and as I was reading more into it, because you've got to remember, this is what I've been fed before I was a Muslim. That, it's not a good thing. It's bad. They're terrorists, etc., etc. Like everything, any time, and listen, there's good and bad in all people, regardless to colour, race, or religion. And that's just a fact. And you could say that there are Muslims out there that get Muslims a bad name, but as a rule, they try to push good and exactly how I've just explained it to you is how I see it and how I believe that I've just given an example of why it's trying to make it right and what it's trying to prevent. Does that make sense?
100%. And some of the points you just made are very valid. They're very valid. That's one thing with me. Since I took my Shahada, there's been so many little things that help me in my life. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the best Muslim in the world, but I try my best. There's some days where, listen, some of us, we slack every day, some slack here, some slack there. I'm not going to sit here and reveal all my sins, but as long as we try our best every day, that's all that matters to me. And I say to everyone, you're on your journey. I'm on my journey. I'm not going to judge you. Whatever you're doing, good luck to you. If you're praying X about whatever you're doing, that's for you to answer with Allah, not me. And that's one thing I've learned through becoming a Muslim. We're all accountable for our own actions. Before, even now, still today, I blame everyone else. All the external factors in my life. Oh, I can't start that business because it's raining outside. Like any excuse. But I've realized we've got to be held accountable for everything. And that's one thing I think would be my biggest lesson through becoming Muslim. We're all accountable for our own actions. And I think the fact you've become Muslim, you've probably inspired so many younger people, so many of your followers to actually look into it, which is amazing. I know for a fact you've probably had people message you questions regarding Islam, regarding your Shahada, because being someone young, a public figure in the eye of the people in London and stuff, it does make a massive difference. Because being a Muslim was looked down upon. People used to, the second you say Muslim, you think terrorist nowadays. That's what people were thinking. when you come out and done it. I remember, I was in the restaurant. People was like, yo, did you know Alfie Best Reversion? Yo, did you know Alfie Best? I was like, what, really? Because everyone knew you, especially in Essex, around town. Everyone knew who you was. And that was a massive thing for you. And listen, credit where credit's due. You've done your thing, you've stuck on it, and you're pushing. And even now, I think the man opposite me today compared to the man who was here 3 years ago, you've grown up so much. Like massively, so much more mature. Like, haven't even had a smile out of you yet.
No, life's hard, mate. Life's hard.
What's changed in the last 3 years? Tell us.
Do you know what? Not a lot, to be honest with you. Trying to earn as much money as possible. Maybe not as fast as I would quite like, but we're still moving forward every day.
What are you doing right now? What businesses have you got up and running? Because I know you've always got 13 businesses going on at the go. What is going on?
So I have mobile home parks, which I've done, which again, like I say, I've added another mobile home park.
How many you got now?
3.
Okay.
I've got an Airbnb business where what I try to do is what I do on a day-to-day basis, because I'm always trying to earn money. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to accumulate enough money to buy an apartment or get a mortgage on an apartment and then start Airbnb in it, or to fully rent it, which is another company I've got called Alfie Best Properties. And we do a little bit of property management for people that I advise to go and buy a property. And they're like, well, I don't know how to manage it. I'm like, okay, well, I can do that for you because it's so very simple, which is very, very easy. I could actually run it myself. I don't, but I could. And I've obviously got the WhatsApp group, which I'm trying to build. That's like my little baby. And the reason that's like my little baby, because all my other businesses help me. This could help anybody that wants to get involved if they're willing to help themselves, which is what I love about that. And eventually I want it to be everywhere. And I could say I've got a waiting list now, because I don't want to overcrowd it. I don't want to ram people in there with it and just become nonsense. I want everybody in there to mature and not grow together, but mature is a very good word for the group to mature and be pushed forward, and everybody making money and everybody knows everybody. Because at the minute, there's probably a couple of people in there that don't push their self forward, that are a little bit more quiet, but I still want them to come forward and them for know them and know what their purpose is and what they're good for and what they can provide.
Yeah, I think you've got to do an event.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have thought about it. And again, it's one of them things that I am going to do 100%.
Even if it's just a day out, even if it's a meal at a restaurant, even if it's just something where it gives credibility to everyone in the group. Because we've all spoken to everyone, but no one's actually met anyone yet.
It's trying to nail everybody down to go at the same time. Because I have thought about this.
Yeah, but you're just going to have to do it and just tell people, look.
Yeah, whoever comes.
Come. Yeah, it's your opportunity. At the end of the day, it's their opportunity.
But the thing is, I kind of know who's going to go and who ain't. I know who's going to make the effort because they're the triers. And you see them come forward. Yeah. But again, I am going to do it.
What would you say the group chat's worth? As in, if you put everyone's net worth together in that group chat, what would you say it's worth? Well, your old man's in the group chat.
Wow. Well, then, I didn't even take into consideration his net worth. Well, if that's the situation, then I'd probably say like 1.2 billion, maybe, with his net worth involved.
What's his?
I think he's just over the billion mark. So I'd say a billion, because I think anything over a billion, you can't start splitting hairs with thousands. I can't say 1 billion, 1,000, 100,000. It's just
when you sit there and say, yeah, my dad's a billionaire.
Yeah.
Have you ever had that feeling that you're like, shit, my dad's a fucking billionaire? Because he's not a millionaire. He's not worth 10 million. He's not worth 20 million. He's worth hundreds of millions of pounds. Does that ever hit you? Like, raw, that's mad. Or for you, is it just normalized now?
The top and bottom of it is, we go to work every day like we didn't have 10 pence. Yeah. So life just feels the same as the same guy that goes on his daily commute. I get on more trains. I park up in London. I get on the train day in, day out. We've done things that a lot of people couldn't, don't get me wrong. But on a day-to-day basis, him and me are just two very, very hard workers. So our lifestyle hasn't changed. Our lifestyle hasn't changed at all. So to hear it and to hear you explain it like that, I do stop and think to myself, like, yeah. But then if you see how we got up and went to work every morning, we technically work for ourselves, we're our own boss, obviously, but you still got to do it. And it's the whole difference of the lifestyle. Maybe if he just stopped and went bang, there's 3 Bugattis for us all, because they're all for or like everything we do, and more so him than me, is business related. There's always something else. Like, it's never just to have fun. Him more than me. Now I'm coming into that. I'm doing that now. Like, I never used to be like that, because again, I was a young person earning a relatively large amount of money, you could say, and spending a silly amount of money. I'd look at it now. But as we've gone on, and mate, I don't know how long he's been a billionaire for, but I think it's about maybe 3 or 4 years now. But again, it does, it's no different. He goes to work.
I spoke to him a couple of weeks back, maybe a couple of months ago now. And one thing I learned from speaking to him is, in his head, he still believes he's broke. He genuinely still, like, he's hungry. When I was speaking to him, I'm thinking, like, where you think people are worth X amount, they don't really care about money. No. He's like, Mikey, I count my pennies. And I was like, I believe you, because the way he speaks, and he's so genuine, he's like, no one's bumping me. He's like, they're not doing that. No one's doing that. If that's the price, that's it. Tell me the real price. Tell me your drink. I'm like, tell me it straight. Otherwise, I'm not interested. And I thought, wow, fair play to you, because when you think of people worth X amount, you think, oh yeah, they don't care about money. But he's still got that hustler's mindset. Genuinely still got it. So I get where you come from, where you say we wake up in the morning and we go to work.
To hear that sounds big, but nothing changes for me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
you can tell me he's a movie star. I know he's not, and he is a billionaire, but it would be the same. Like,
so let's say you're a billionaire. Let's say hypothetically, well, inshallah, you make $1 billion quid. Yeah. Inshallah, you make £1 billion. You've got a kid now, you right? Congratulations.
Thank you very
much. Boy or girl?
A little girl.
A little girl. So let's say she's now 17 years old. A position where obviously she's on her own, independent. Financially, how are you going to help her? Are you taking your dad's code of conduct where it's, nah, you're doing it all yourself. I'll connect you. I'll put you together with people, but you earn your own money? And I know she's a girl. It's a little bit different, but let's say.
It's not. My sister now runs. My dad's left and gone to Monaco. My sister is now the director of Wildcrest Park Home. She's been chucked in the deep end a lot, and she was building up because she was working over there for a little while. But to take on his job with very little experience was a very big move. She's in charge of 150 mobile park homes across the country.
Is that how many he's got?
That's how many he's got. Maybe more. I might even be, I don't count his mobile park homes. I can tell you for a fact I've got 3. But for me, like you say, it is a little bit different. The work ethic will be installed into her from a very young age. She will have as good as what I can possibly provide, which is an awful lot. But what you've got to understand is I'm still growing myself. Now that would have no effect on my children whatsoever, because I would take this coat off my back, I'd take my socks off and walk on hot coals for my children. But I have to look at myself, and I have to look at my sister, and we have both been always instilled to us that nothing in life is just given. So I could involve her in what I've got going on. Hopefully then I've got a mega empire, which is no problem to bring her into the business. But for me, I wouldn't have wanted to be brought into my dad's business. And we sat down and had this conversation of, I've worked so hard for this long. Why would I go and give up? And it wouldn't be giving up what I've done, but and it is basically a matter of what people say. That's what it would come down to. So I've done all of this. Well, I might as well have done nothing up until now, and then took over your company. And I don't want to do that. I'd still rather see how far I can get. And then when the time's right, merge it together, and we've got an empire. He's got an empire already. I'll just add a little shed on to the side.
add a little like flat on the side.
I'm looking to overachieve him, which I genuinely believe I can do, because I do again. I am so much further forward than he was at my age. At his age now, he had 1 mobile home park. And again, I'm in a little bit of a different position. But, my dad's dad had, my granddad, he works on Christmas Day. You've never seen somebody work as hard as this man. He would put my dad to shame. It's probably diluting as it goes down, and I'm trying to pick it up, to be honest. And I try to outwork and overwork my dad, but when my dad's got a little bit more experience on me, and the thing is, I'm actually now coming to the age where I remember my dad. I remember my dad at my age, and that's what I'm putting myself into comparison to. Because before I was trying to compare myself to him, well, it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, you can't.
He's got 20, 30 years experience on me, and has done very, 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 very well. But to think of him and remember him, what he was doing at my age, because I remember being 3 or 4 years old. My dad had a drain company called Southern Drains, and I remember going to work with him, and he wasn't doing all that great, but what he was doing was chipping away every day, no matter what. He was going out, whether he had good days, whether he had bad days, he was up again. Nothing would dishearten him. And I remember the first mobile home park he bought, we lived on it. It was a site called Lakeview Park, but again...
Still own it?
Yeah, still got it. I don't think he's ever sold any, as far as I'm aware. Or if he has sold them, it's to buy more elsewhere. And then by the time he was my age, it was not until he was 30 odd, which I'm 28 now. It wasn't until he was 30 odd did he start getting 2, 3, 4, and then
he grew on
from then. Mm-hmm.
So listen, we could be having a podcast in 10 years' time where you're sat here saying, Mikey, I'm sat at 40, 50 units now, kind of thing, right?
Listen, I may go in a different direction. As for the what I do have, I have a solid base at the moment and a business that I understand. It's not simple, it's not easy. However, for me, it would be easier than the normal person that's just going to jump into that industry, because I've lived around it my whole life, lived on one.
Like the back of your head.
Exactly. And I've got an office full of people that are there to aid and assist. But I'm looking to buy property all over the world, because I don't know how long this Airbnb thing's going to last, but it's great concept, great model, very easy. Buy a property in a good location, because I don't know if it works everywhere.
How many locations have you got now?
2.
2, okay.
Yeah.
Where are they?
One's in Kensington and one's in Knightsbridge.
Okay, all right. Fair play. So you've picked very high-end locations.
Yeah, absolutely. But for me, if I was going to do it, and again, I don't understand it. So why do I want to make life difficult for myself picking a location where I've got to push it? The one which is in Knightsbridge doesn't necessarily need to be pushed. The customers come to me, and Booking.com and Airbnb are the ones that do the advertising. All I have to do is and they take a fee or a commission. And there's rules and regulations. It's not that easy. You're only allowed to do 90 days a year, and then the rest of the year I just rent it. But them 3 months of the year, you get a real touch. And I don't know if that's in every area. I only understand London.
Fair play. And one thing I want to ask you, obviously being a very successful young man at the age of 28, being worth £12 million, it's amazing what you've done and what you've achieved. What would be one bit of advice you give to the younger generation who are looking at you now thinking, wow, he's smashed it. Why haven't I done so well?
Well, listen, as I've said before, if you're looking to reach, if you're looking to touch the ceiling, reach for the stars.
Yeah,
and that's the way to do it. But my advice for somebody young coming up is, listen, there's one thing that I do know for sure. Persistence beats motivation. Motivation comes and it goes. You can't control it. It's a natural feeling. You can try and motivate yourself. You can try and find things that motivate you, i.e., you look at a car. I want to buy that car. Gives you motivation. You stay away from that car long enough, you don't see it pop up, or things get too hard, you get disheartened, and then you're unmotivated. People are like, oh, motivation, determination. That's all well and good. Determination's great. You need determination. But as for motivation, use it when it comes, because it's a great tool to fuel your fire to go where you're going. But persistence, as getting up and doing it day in, day out, keep going and going. Whether it's working, go. If it's not working, go. Keep going and going and going and going until you've eventually reached what you want or achieved what you want to achieve. Because a lot of people look up and say, motivation. It comes and it goes. Some mornings I bet you wake up, you feel motivated.
Yeah, of course. Listen.
Other mornings you don't. But on the days that you don't, still get up and turn up as if you are. And I believe that the persistence will take you wherever you want to go. And it ain't only persistence, is it? But that's what gets you there in the first place. You've started. Does that make sense?
No, 100%.
Like you're on your way then. You're
100%.
like, to turn up and any job. And what I would advise, what I've said to, and this was advice that was given to me, stick to what you know. And some people don't want to do that. They want to branch off and go and do their own thing, but they're just starting from the beginning. Whatever you know and whatever you're good at, that's what you need to do to build enough capital. And there's only one way for somebody that's not a superstar, i.e. an actor, a singer, a writer, or whatever it may be, but earn mega money. And people could say very easily, nobody knows really what goes into an actor's job. They probably live a very hard life, to be honest. It might not be worth what they get paid, but from the outside, it looks extremely good. I can say that much. But they're hard, difficult things to be able to get in. I'm not saying don't do it. If you want to go and do it, by all means, go to acting school. But for me, I'm never going to be able to be an actor, and I'd love to be. However, if you
never know, bro. You
never know. Hopefully, if anybody's out there looking at this video and they need a cameo, I'm here. But it's just time. If you've learned and you've educated yourself and you know something, the only way to become a millionaire is when you make money when you go to sleep. And the only way to do that realistically is if you have something like a property that pays you rent regardless. Rain, snow, blow, recession, you get paid. And in order to get property, you need to get a mortgage, which is fine. And you get a good credit score, money coming in every month, whether that may be from a job. Now you need to start small. Money coming in every month, whether that may be from a job. Then you get yourself a mortgage, you buy yourself a house, you rent it out. And then you repeat that process over and over again, which some people look, how are you going to do that? There's places all over the country which you wouldn't believe how much they actually cost. There's from one end of the country to the other. It's not cheap, hundreds of thousands of pounds everywhere. And it's actually very hard to flip homes now, to be honest. But to put people in there and rent them, you own it, and your money is actually safe. Look at it as in a property bank. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down, but eventually it levels itself out, and hopefully more. But so that's why my advice is to try and get little money, build up capital, and build up a good credit score. That's very, very, very important, which I haven't touched base on any other podcasts or any other shows, is how important a good credit score is, because to be able to borrow money is essential.
100%.
To do the plan that I'm telling you, and the plan that I'm explaining is what I have done.
Well, listen, clearly whatever you're doing is working. So your retirement figure, this is one question I like to ask my guests. Your retirement figure, when you retire and you close up shop and you're done, what would you like to be worth?
The amount is there is no amount what I would like to be worth, and the word retirement.
Not part of your dictionary?
It's not in my vocabulary.
Fair play.
I do not never look at retired, never thought about retiring, a joke about it sometimes, but I've never would retire. Not from earning money. There's no reason. If you want the truth, I see so many people that retire and drop down dead.
Yeah. No, 100%. People need to work. People need to work.
For me,
I hear that.
I don't care. My granddad's 8-year-old and still doing hard maintenance, and probably looks fitter than me. So for me, it's not. I enjoy going to work, and that's another thing I would say. But again, it kind of contradicts what I said before. To stick to what you know is try and find something you enjoy. But I forget what you enjoy. I don't care about that now. And I can change what I say now to what I said before, and I don't know what I said before because I have a little bit more experience. And what I do know is we do not have all the time in the world. We may think we do. We don't. We have a limited amount of times in our teens. We have a limited amount of times in our 20s. We have a limited amount of times in our 30s. And I think 30 is a very good age, and you need to have accomplished or at least purchased a property of some sort of income that you don't need to work for by the time you're 30. Is a good plan for anybody, I believe, because if you haven't done that and you're chasing your tail time you're 40, then I would say
becomes a long day for you.
Exactly.
Well, listen, let's wrap it up. Guys, if you are looking to be part of the Alfie Best Jr. group chat, how do people reach out? How do they get involved?
Just to head over to my Instagram.
Message you on Insta?
Yeah, there's an Instagram account. There is a website, and the URL for the website
link in description.
Is in the description.
It will all be there. If you're interested in joining the group, I'm personally part of it. I'll be honest with you guys. It's very, very good. If you've got the right mindset and you want to make money, join it. If you're not serious, forget it. This is for serious people only. But listen, it's been a pleasure to have you, Alfie. I look forward to probably seeing you again in 2 years when you're worth another couple mil. But apart from that, listen, it's been a pleasure. Guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.